Hi there. How can I get started with my literature review? Let's start by imagining you're someone who's had a great idea for your final year undergraduate dissertation, submitted your proposal, but don't really know much about the research field in or on which you want to study. When students send me their reading lists for their dissertation topics, those lists often need a lot of revision. But what I want to do here is give you the tools to help you get it right first time. I'm going to suggest 3 key points for getting started with your lit review. I'm going to tell you how you can review the literature in your research field effectively by taking 3 steps. First, understand the differences between 6 major types of literature. Second, conceptualize 2 key levels of the literature linked to those types. And third, unlock what I consider to be the one key aspect of all lit reviews at this level. So let's go straight to that first key point. What are the 6 core types of literature, and what role should they play in the early stage of your lit review? Type 1 is monographs. These are books, often quite big books, usually by a single author, based on a lot of research on a small area. You should look hard for these in your field of study, and if you find them, you must put them in your lit review. But don't worry about reading them right now. Just read the back cover at this stage, but do put monographs in your reading list. Type 2, research papers. These are journal articles in peer-reviewed academic journals. And like monographs, these are based on a lot of research on a small area. Essentially, with research papers, it's the same drill as for monographs. But one particular additional aspect of journal articles to really look out for is that each one usually includes a list of keywords on the front page. When it comes to these keywords, be a detective. Look out for and use those keywords in searching for new items on the topic. Also, for both research papers and monographs, scour their references and harvest all references that are mentioned that seem relevant for your study. Now, research papers and monographs are the gold standard, and these first 2 types of literature should make up at least 80% of your reading list. And by the way, in a similar bracket as research papers are book chapters in edited collections. These are essentially the same as journal articles. There are differences, but I'm not going to go into these in this video. Type 3, we're moving on here, is review papers or review articles in inverted commas. Review papers are a specific type of journal article, essentially an extended book review of a number of different recent books in the field. Look up Lawrence Black, An Enlightening Decade on Google Scholar if you want an example of a review paper. Review papers can be quite rare, but when you find one, they are brilliant in alerting you to 2 things. Number 1, obviously the books themselves, which you can add to your reading list if they seem relevant. Second, something else too. This is that crucially, review papers do not only rate the books, so to speak. They don't give them a star rating or anything like that, but they rate the books, but they do something else too. The author also attempts to weave a narrative around the different books, what connects them, and what are the key issues that they all engage with or debate. So review papers, type 3, tell you what are the key issues that all the books that they're reviewing cover and discuss. And in doing so, they basically propose to you what your dissertation might be about in a detailed way, what debates your dissertation might tap into. So this concludes the unproblematic types of reading for your early stage lit review. We've done 3 types and there are 3 types left. What about those other 3 types? Type 4 is textbooks. Textbooks were great in your first year. They're still great, but don't put them in the reading list that you send to your tutors. Read them secretly as a grounding, a kind of safety net, so that you understand the basics of the topic. Because at this level, as far as your actual list of readings is concerned, we're done with textbooks. Defoe and Curtis, Bartlett and Burton, if you do education studies, we're done with them. By the way, that goes for your coursework essays too. Okay, so we're about halfway through. We're not done yet with these 6 types of literature, but I've already got to the second of the 3 big points I want to make in this video. And this is the 2 key levels of literature that you have to be aware of. These are the front stage, number 1, and backstage, number 2. You need to have a concept of front stage and backstage. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, of course, at the theatre or show, the front stage is where the stars do their thing, and all of the other stuff takes place on the backstage, hidden from view. In the lit review, the monographs, journal articles, and any review articles are the stars of the show. They sit on the front stage, along with those book chapters in edited collections. What sits on the backstage? Textbooks. First of all, do not put textbooks on the front stage. You can read them to get a grounding, but they aren't front stage reading. Websites, type 5. These could be websites of local or central government, for example, which can give you statistics and so on. They may be websites that act as a gateway to reports from charities and the like. And these could add something really great to your research. However, they're not really central to that list of key readings. Put a couple in there by all means, but if your reading list is just a list of non-academic reports from websites, then it gets nil point as a reading list. Finally, type 6, reference works, is the same as textbooks. These could be scholarly dictionaries, for example, the Penguin Dictionary of Political Thought, or encyclopedias, and that kind of thing. These are backstage sources that can give you a grounding on the topic, but that's it. Finally, last but not least, I want to close by unlocking for you the one key underlying aspect of the lit review, and it's this. Do not just think in terms of one piece of literature on each piece of the topic. Let me explain. When students are writing essays, they usually get one reading supporting this point, another reading supporting that point, etc. Each point might just have one reading supporting it. However, when you get to the level of a dissertation, we're looking for multiple readings on the same point, the same rough area. Why? One, because we want to corroborate our points more deeply and thoroughly. But there's something else too. What we want to do here, above all else, is look for debates about particular key points. We want to interrogate the depth of argument or disagreement or controversy about those particular points. And these are the points that can help you to provide answers in your dissertation. And remember, like I said in my video on how can I review my research ideas, answers is in inverted commas. In your dissertation, you will be rewarded for depth, not necessarily breadth. Now, at this stage, it may be that you are not necessarily going to be aware of the depth of disagreement, etc., on particular points, which is fine. The crux of it, though, is this. Just as you need to have a concept of front stage and backstage, you should also have, at one and the same time, a journey mindset and a destination mindset. Right now, you're at the beginning of a journey. So you can start off with a more basic, broad appreciation of the academic readings that are out there on your topic. However, you should know, based on what I've just said, that the direction of travel is towards depth of understanding on a specialized issue or area. And that should be your destination mindset. Your destination mindset should be that you are moving away from just having one reading to support each point or slice of the topic, and towards readings that stack one on top of the other on the same or similar issues or debates. And that's how you travel from the early stage of the lit review towards the middle and later stages, towards that destination where you go deep into a small area of knowledge and find your answers. So, how can I get started with my lit review? I hope this video has served to help you in thinking about the issue further.